had to do with women that were rejected in the House last year. That's another case and an entirely different matter. We're looking at the current statistics of women in politics and how women can have an able representative within the states and the legislative, houses. That's what we're looking at. Is it even possible? I mean, how can bills that affect women be passed? How can bills that's got to benefit women be taken care of if we have very poor representation, of that particular agenda? So that's issue that we'll be looking at today on the show, on the hot topic this evening. And of course, I've got a guest that will be, helping me dissect that statistics very, very well. So I look at this report a little bit. So according to a report by Gender Strategy Advancement International, a GSAI, they disclosed that women political participation in Nigeria falls below the world and African continental standards. It is that bad, that poor. Now, according to reports, the national average of women's political participation in Africa remain at about 6.7% in elective appointative positions. That is to say that both in elective positions and appointed positions. Well, you say appointive positions. So, which it said is far below the global average of 22.5%, Africa regional, and then 23.4%, and West African regional average of 15%. So, how do we better it? So, explaining why Nigeria ranked low, the report said the underrepresentation of women in political participation gained root due to the patriarchal practice inherent in our society, much of which were obvious from pre-colonial era till date. Given the several talks, initiatives, and policy directions of government, one would probably expect greater progress in Nigeria's quest for increased women's political participation. So something, I did see something by Chimamanda Adichie. I wish I took the link to that post. So there was something she said, and she said that we cannot continue to have a country that has about, that neglects 50% of its population. If women actually make 50% of the population of Nigeria, and we cannot continue to neglect 50% of that population in leadership positions. We do not give them leadership positions. Why don't we? And then we expect change. How do we effect those changes? And then she went ahead to say that, we shouldn't also expect women to be perfect, because we've had men who held leadership positions who were just there. And we have men who are probably abysmal failures, right? So if you have a woman occupying such position, don't expect her to be perfect, because she's also human. She cannot be perfect. Would we say that is in our quest to look for women who are perfect in position, to take up those political positions? That's why it's been difficult for us to have women join us, for us to have that able representative or representation in politics. We could go on and on, with this conversation. So according to this report that I was telling you about, it added that Nigeria ranked 181 out of 193 countries on the Gender Equality Index. It is so bad. When your child scores 181 out of 193, the mathematicians in the house are going to let me in on this, because I need some calculation. This is about the poorest the child can be. Goodness me. It's like scoring 100, being the 100 students out of 100 in class. My goodness. This is poor. So it is 193 minus 181. I have to do this math. So we're at actually the 12th poorest country in terms of representation of women in leadership positions, that is in politics or governance generally. He stated that the country currently ranks, I said that, and ranked 181 out of 198 countries on the Gender Equality Index for reasons such as poor resource allocation in the economic and social sectors, frequent conflicts, forced displacement, and inadequate inclusions of women and girls' perspective in policy-making decisions. Other reasons, they said, include low representation of women in governance and politics, and inadequate legal framework, and limited capacity to support women's empowerment and equality efforts. we could go on and on with this. I mean, this you could even read up on the UN Women, write-up of 2020. Now, despite all efforts to promote the contribution of women in the domain of politics and decision making, women have continued to record low representation at all tiers of and all levels of governance, although they constitute almost half of the electorate. Not almost half, I dare say half of the electorate. Now, findings reveal that males constitute 94.2% of the members of the National Assembly in the period between 1999 to 2015 on the average, while female participation remained low at 5.8% at the National Bureau of Statistics between 2019. So at the last 2019 election, it was even worse. We had lower women participation or involvement in politics. To what do we attribute this? How do we better things that's got to do with the female gender? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And this report that I am looking at, on her part, Executive Director GSAI Adora Onyechere asked the federal government why certain policies on gender inclusions have not been considered. Onyechere spoke spoke about this in a lot of ways. Now, according to her, she said statistics of women from 1999 to date, both in governance, in politics, and the way government has tailored their implementation of gender budgets has totally been null and void. For a population with over 49.2%, that's about 50%. It is a serious problem, and the need to evaluate and look at what government has done, it's very, very important. So we could go on and on with this conversation, and it just brings us to that question: how do we have better involvement? How do we have better representation of our women in politics? That is the question that begs for answer. And that is why we thought to bring up this conversation this evening. How do we have a gender? How do we have a gender that it's over 49.2% of the entire population of the country, or let's say 50% of the entire population of the country, have very, very, very minute representation in politics, in governance, and in leadership? This is, very, very, very worrisome. And so how do women, how do bills has got to do, protect the interest of women, find the light of day in governance generally? So that is why I have with me in the house Mrs. Tari Taylor. Tari Taylor is a House of Representative member House of Lagos State House of Assembly candidates for our youth party, and of course she's looking at representing Etiosa 1 constituency. Tari, good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining me. Tari, are you there? Oh my goodness. I do hope she can join me. I do hope she can join me back. All right. So I'll do well to ensure that she joins back on this conversation, Lagos. But in all of this, we'd like to hear your thoughts. You are a woman. You are a man. Even if I wanted to say, even in this station, we have more men call us than women. But I'd like to hear from you. How do we get more women involved in politics in Nigeria? If I have to look at some positions that are being held by women in governance in Nigeria, I'll say that some of those key positions, women have performed very, very well. We've had women handle our finance and economy a couple of times, and they've done very well. So if they've proven themselves to do very well, why can't we give them even, better opportunities? That's the question that begs for answers. Lagos, on the evening rush this evening, I told you that I have with me in the house Tari Taylor. Tari Taylor is the youth party candidate for Lagos Assembly Etiosa 1. She'll be joining me in this conversation as we x-ray women's involvement in politics. How do we have able representation in the legislature and even in the state? That's the question. Good evening to you, Tari. Are you there? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, Precious.
Oh,
good evening and good evening, Lagos.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. It's good to have, a crisp conversation with you. It's quite clear from here. All right. So, Tari, it's been very, very worrisome. Between 1999 till date, we've had, less than, I don't want to say less than the general African standard or general African benchmark of women involvement in not just politics, but governance generally, because this has to do with both appointed and elective positions. To what do we really, attribute this to?
Well, it's a range of different factors, and some of them include, perceptions that a lot of women have about going into politics in terms of the negative perceptions. So they would rather just stay away rather than, be labeled with the prejudices and all that. And there's also the high barriers for entry into, to become a candidate in political parties, because you cannot emerge without going through the party process, through the internal party politics. So a lot of times, if for example, the cost of buying the forms is too high, how many people can afford 50 million or 100 million like that? So of course that would narrow the field down to a few people with deep pockets, and sometimes women may not fall into that category for various reasons. So like I said, it's a range of different factors. Also, legislation. We all talk about the 35%, for affirmative action for seats in the National Assembly and all that. But everybody pays lip service to it. But to what degree is it actually being implemented? And like I said, it will have to be implemented right from the political party system, because that is the platform where candidates emerge from. So if the political parties are not throwing up women candidates, then there will definitely be a shortage of enough women in elective office. Of course, women can also get in through appointed, offices, but then that's solely at the discretion of the person who is doing the appointing, So at the end of the day, I feel that there has to be much more advocacy. There has to be much more holding political institutions accountable, so that they actually meet up to those quotas in their decision making.
All right, so Tari, if we would say that we're truly fighting for equality and women are actually as independent and financially strong as men are, because a lot of women are quite educated these days and have a lot to contribute to, the system. Do you think that the aspect, the aspect of looking at the amount of money, the cost of these forms should be a concern, a worry for women? Shouldn't we be able to afford it as much as the men should be?
Precious, it's a concern for everybody, male or female. Sometimes the costs are too high. 100 million naira for a presidential form in a political party. You are sending a message. You are saying that only certain people can aspire to that. How many people? I mean, think about it. If you are aspiring to be president and you're in a political party, first of all, you will buy the form. After buying the form, you will still need to, go through a lot of processes. You will still campaign. You will still look after your delegates. You will still spend a lot of money, and that's not even before you emerge as candidate. And I'm sure before you buy the form, you would have been doing some groundwork or whatever. So it's a lot. Political campaigns are expensive. So when the cost of the form is already 100 million naira, then what's your budget for your campaign really going to be? And how many people, men or women, have those kind of deep pockets to be able to say, I want to commit 1 billion naira to a campaign? I mean, come on. So it's not allowing that sort of process, and that those costs are not allowing the best people to emerge. It's just allowing the people who have the very deep war chest, and a lot of times those are people who have been in government before and have amassed that wealth, maybe not through legal means. So really, it's a whole systemic issue that needs to be looked at.
All right. So last year there were quite a couple of bills that didn't fare well, that had to do with women in the National Assembly, that didn't fare so well. And one of it was what you pointed out, which had to do with starting from the political parties. Did we see any change by the political parties this season? because that bill issue happened before the primaries. So did we notice any change?
Well, I mean, we have the lady in Adamawa State running under
who's the
APC
first,
for
exactly, the first governorship
Who is the
candidate per
first,
se.
That's Madam Binani.
Yes.
So, I mean, we're all rooting for her. I mean, it will be nice. And it seems like she's quite competent. It seems like she carries quite some weight, you know, in the state. So I'll be happy to see somebody like her emerge, you know. But that's just one person, and that's the APC. And I mean, for me, watching that day, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, when you had President Buhari raising her hand on one side, and you had Asiwaju Bola Tinubu raising her hand on the other side. I think that was a very strong image.
Oh wow!
You know,
it was sorry for you.
Yeah, that was it was a very strong image. Is what I said. A very strong image, and I think it would resonate with a lot of women to see that there are the possibilities. Look, Precious, this thing is a long game. It's not going to happen overnight. Okay, we're not just going to see everything change overnight. It's little by little. So little steps like that. The more people like myself who are vying for public office are successful in our venture, then it would encourage a lot more women to step up and say, you know what, it is possible to be able to do that. But until that happens, a lot of people will just really shy away from the process.
All right. So, do we believe that this, poor representation of women in any way has got to do with, is due to the patriarchal practice inherent in our society?
I don't think that, to be honest, if you look at us historically, I don't think that women leadership is something that is strange to let me stick to Nigerian cultures. It's not. But it's just that the political system that we operate probably has limited it. But if you look at our traditional institutions, women have always played a prominent role. They've always been like a force to reckon with, that they've always played like leadership roles. So I don't really think that deep within our culture, at the core of our cultures, we really are appalled by the idea of women leadership. I don't think so. I just think it's the way the systems are structured that doesn't allow for that equal opportunity and all of that. And I can speak personally to my own experience. I have never gone out and felt a sense of, anybody trying to limit me or trying to hinder me or not receiving me well because I'm a woman. No, it's actually been the opposite. So, I mean, somebody else might have a different experience, but I mean, my own experience has not been one that I would say there's any limitation, or people would judge you or not welcome you because you're a woman. No, I don't think that.
So you'd recall that last year when that bill, went about, I think 5 bills that's got to do with women were turned down by the National Assembly. Well, some of the things the men in National Assembly said is, you cannot be asking for a special place. I mean, if you're asking for equality, you two should slug it out with the men. So, you had just mentioned that the reverse has been the case, that you rather, have it a bit more easy than others. Do you think that women are actually looking for a soft landing in politics? Are we asking for too much?
It's a yes and no question.
Okay.
Of course, the very concept of affirmative action makes you want to expect a soft landing, because affirmative action is a global concept. The same concept was applied to the blacks in America. Because of the years of being disenfranchised or their rights being, repressed. So there's the affirmative action policy that says, okay, they should be given some sort of advantage or consideration to compensate for all the years that they have been denied such opportunities. So that's the same concept that applies for, women and affirmative action as well. It's like saying, okay, to compensate for all the exclusion over the years, then we will give some priority to actually having women in specific offices. But so that's where the yes part of it comes in, by the very concept of what affirmative action means. However, in reality, when you are actually out there on the field, you'll be foolish to expect any sort of soft landing as a woman, because the guys who are out there vying for their offices, they're not looking at your face. They don't care how fine you are or what affirmative action you are coming with. They want to win. So you too, you must want to win, and you must play to win.
I mean, they showed women that on the floor of the National Assembly last year, so it's clear enough. All right, Harry, let's jump on a quick break. Let's jump on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation. Lagos, let's let you know that you too can be part of this conversation. You can call us up on 0700-903-903-903. You can do a WhatsApp message to 0700-903-9039. What do you think about women's participation in politics? How can women have able representation both in the legislative and the state? That's what we're talking about. After this break, Lagos will take your call. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Must work for all of us. Everybody down
Oh yes, Lagos people, papa, mama, sister, brother, auntie, plus including uncle them. Better don't land for Lagos State gidigba. Money will be for Lagos State, then go use them for Lagos State. Wella, no more papa sope. Then no go chop Lagos State money. Nobody go pocket Lagos State. Then go take and build Lagos State, build road, build hospital, build houses, and now only one man fit do this job. He name na Abdulaziz Olajide Adediran Jando. He can't carry one obonge person as the deputy governor. Her name na Funke Akindele. My people, what do we wait for? Make we vote for light, vote for change. Not be the kind change where they vote before. This one na the original change. How am I done do? Pay the pay.
Everybody down
When I finish downloading this show like this, I will go straight to Tayo's house to eat sweet jollof. Then enjoy this movie on YouTube. It's just that Tayo will now start disturbing me to turn on my Wi-Fi for him when he can easily enjoy data bonus with MTN for me. With MTN for me, you will get 100% data bonus and discounted data bundles just like that. What are you waiting for? Dial *121# to get started with MTN for me.
Peter.
Peter.
Peter. Peter.
Peter.
Peter.
Peter.
Oh yes, yes, he's here to change the narrative, here to make things work in Nigeria and for Nigerians. On Peter, we shall build this nation. Arise, fellow Nigerians, and let's wake up the sleeping giant. Don't Peter Obi, a man with great vision and an enthusiast of the real change. The only man we can trust with the nation's finance. Oh yes, for good governance. Let's join hands together and vote Labour Party.
Vote Peter Obi for president, supported by Chief Dr. Paul Ezenwa Akudo, CEO, Wugas Intercontinental Limited.
When I finish downloading this show like this, I will go straight to Tayo's house to eat sweet jollof. Then enjoy this movie on YouTube. It's just that Tayo will now start disturbing me to turn on my Wi-Fi for him when he can easily enjoy data bonus with MTN for me. With MTN for me, you will get 100% data bonus and discounted data bundles just like that. What are you waiting for? Dial *121# to get started with MTN for me.
Looking for a place to relax and find comfort, the right place to be is the Golden Tulip Essential Hotel. At the Golden Tulip Essential Hotel, we offer excellent services to our clients and customers. We serve high quality wines at our restaurant and bar, while our continental dish is second to none. At the Golden Tulip Essential Hotel, located on 42 Muritala Mohammed International Airport Road, our rooms are in conformity with international standard and best practices. We accord priority to security for all our guests. Breakfast is free.
That's how I do.
Yay! And we have standard facilities for your seminar and training. For bookings and reservations, please call 0815-7003-333.
Ice on my neck, ice on my wrist, you know. That's how I do.
When I finish downloading this show like this, I will go straight to Tayo's house to eat sweet jollof. Then enjoy this movie on YouTube. It's just that Tayo will now start disturbing me to turn on my Wi-Fi for him when he can easily enjoy data bonus with MTN for me. With MTN for me, you will get 100% data bonus and discounted data bundles just like that. What are you waiting for? Dial *121# to get started with MTN for me.
Are you aware that Iruka Online Limited installed and designed a 100,000 capacity church building? Oh yeah, we are the sole distributors of global leading brands all over the world, such as Wafday Line Array, speakers and digital amplifiers, Preseno's digital mixers and studio equipment, Coswell workstations and keyboards, Fender guitars, Mapex drums, Ashdown bass combos, just to mention but a few. We offer flexible payment plan handled by our financial department with 24/7 customer care support system. You can visit our website on www.iruka.com to avoid buying fake products. You can also visit our showroom at number 36 Lagos International Airport Road beside Golden Tulip Hotel. Iruka, never settle for less.
Who is this? Oh yeah, this is VOP 90.
This is your number one radio station at VOP 90.3 FM.
It is 90.3 Voice of the People FM Lagos, and it's been an amazing conversation that we've been having in the house. We've been speaking with Tari Taylor. She's a youth party candidate for Lagos Assembly Etiosa 1. We've been looking at women in politics. How do we ensure quality representation at the local and state level? Especially considering that, the representation of women in politics has been very, very poor. About 6%. It's against 22% and 23.4% world and African standard. What can we do to ensure that we get things better? We make things better. Tari has been speaking with us about this, and we're joining her again to ensure to continue the conversation. However, you too can be part of this conversation. So you can call us on 0700 903 903 903 or 0700 903 9039 for WhatsApp. The number to call is 0700 903 903 903 for calls, and for WhatsApp it is 0700 903 9039. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's the number to call. All right. So, yes, we have been looking at the conversation on women's involvement in politics, so women's participation in politics. How do we ensure quality representation of our gender at the local and state levels? That's the question. Tari Taylor, youth party candidate of Lagos Assembly Etiosa 1, has joined us in this conversation. Tari, welcome back. Thanks for hanging in there.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. So we're back to this. I just did tell Lagos that Nigeria has had from 2019 to 2015 about 6% or 6.7%, and from 2015 about just 5.8% out of the 22.5% and 23.4% Africa and world standard, in terms of representation. How did we get to this? Okay, so what can we do to have better representation?
Well, it's I think it's a whole process, really. It's not a one thing. It's a whole process. First of all, perceptions about women in politics and in leadership.
So when you're telling me these things, do you mind talking from experience? I mean, that's why we have you. So we like you to share your personal experience while you talk with us, so that we can relate, with what you're saying.
So when it comes to perception, I mean, for example, I'm sure we probably had this conversation before. I had always been in public service. I have a lot of roles in Lekki that I occupy, and I serve, my community through. I'm the vice chairman for environment for Lekki zone, and I'm the environment secretary, for environment secretary, for LERA, which is Lekki Estate Residents Association.
Okay.
Now, so I had been serving my community through these roles, and I was very all right, to be doing that. I live in Lekki, so I'm a concerned resident. It is to my benefit if things work well. So I was just happy to be volunteering my time and energy and, doing the work. And my family, everybody knew that that's the way I am, because I've always been doing that. But when I stepped out to run for public service, it was a completely different ballgame.
Oh, wow.
Okay?
What
because
changed?
Then, what changed was that, oh, wow, what is this ambition? What is this you want?
Oh, wow.
Are you not content with...
Like, how dare you have an ambition?
Yes, it's you must think so highly of yourself that you will get up and say, only you, small you want to be leading everybody in this whole, I mean, that's the, and then I'm not being a woman and then being a young, well, a lot of people consider me to be a young woman as well. So it's a double, thing. So the question of what is it that you want? You have a family, you have a home. Why instead of you to manage your home and focus on building your home, why are you trying to be all over the place? So those questions come up, and sometimes people have the best intentions, when they look at things like this, because they are wondering, they just don't understand their cultural perception and everything just does not allow them to see, things in a different way. So I have to sort of be very firm in my conviction and say that, this is my past. This is who I am. This is what I do. And I believe that holding a public office will give me a bigger platform to serve, as I have been doing all my life. So over time, between the first time when I ran in 2021 for councillor and now when I'm running again, a lot of perceptions have changed, particularly from my family and from my friends. The first time, a lot of people didn't understand what it was I was trying to accomplish. And to them, they were even like, this system is so rotten. Why do you want to go and get yourself messed up in it? Why don't you just stay, you're all right, you're comfortable, you have your business, you have your work. Why are you trying to stretch into this terrain that is going to bring a lot of or negative attention sometimes, and all of that? So, but for me, I was looking at the bigger picture. I know that I have value to give, and I felt that with this public office, I can make a lot of impact. So I held my ground. But the difference is, because of my consistency, I believe now I have much more support. I have much more understanding. I have much more people saying, yes, it's a good idea. You should be in this office because this is where your heart is and all that. So women also. It's a patient process, Precious. I told you, it's a long game. Perceptions are not going to change overnight, especially perceptions of those who love you and actually mean the best for you, because they're your first constituency. So they're the first people you have to win over in terms of, your vision and what you're trying to do, and by your conviction and ability to weather the storm and go through everything. So I've paid my dues in that respect a little. And now I have a lot more support from my husband and, from my family and all that. Everybody is like rallying around and saying, how can we help and all that. But initially they were a bit more skeptical, because they just didn't understand, and they just thought maybe it was just something I was doing now. But when they have seen my consistency over time, it makes them a bit more, understanding towards me.
It's amazing.
So that's one experience.
It's amazing. So I like the fact that you mentioned, having support from your family, and especially your husband. Has he always been there from your husband, especially? Did your husband not say that? I don't know if your husband is involved in politics too. So how did he let you? How did he let you get involved? Because what they will say. I mean, you should. What are you doing? Why do you want to get us all exposed into this? How did you manage to convince him to see?
And we are very private people. We are a very private family. We just like to live our lives quietly and do our thing. So it was a big sacrifice for everybody, because all of a sudden your name is everywhere, and people are asking you, oh, this is your wife, oh, this is your sister, oh, this is your person. So it makes people quite uncomfortable when you are used to living under the radar and all of a sudden you are out there and you have to be having this conversation. It's a bit uncomfortable. But like he said, my husband is not in politics, and he doesn't even share my enthusiasm about the changes that can happen. Okay. He feels like a lot of things that, like the rot and all, is so endemic, and that it's not just gonna come in. And he feels I'm a bit naive about the changes I expect to accomplish and all that. But my argument is, hey, look, if we don't try, we would never know. If we don't push, we will never attain. And over time, I think I've won him over with my my continued effort, and he now sees possibilities as well. So it's never easy. Like I said, your family is your first constituency. You have to win them over, and don't be a lot of times women, we can be reactive about things. It can turn to fights, or it can turn to, oh, you don't want to support me, you don't want to do this. No, that approach will never work. That approach will never get you anybody to your side. That approach is not going to win people over to your side. You have to be patient. You have to be humble through the process. You have to show them that you are not going to change and become a different person because you have power and all of that. Because they will start to watch you. they will start to watch you to observe how this is going to change you. So if you are not if you change and you're not accountable, you are proud, maybe you start staying. I know that politics sometimes requires late nights, but you have to do it with wisdom as well. You cannot just every night, be having meetings. So you have to approach everything with wisdom so that you can win over those people that are closest to you. Because at the end of the day, which I say I want to be a member of the House of Assembly, if my husband is not in support, I would not succeed. I need him, in my corner. So you have to do the work. You have to be willing to do the work of winning them over so that they will support you. And I won't say it's all smooth sailing right now, but it's a lot more easier and a lot more, much more than what it was at the beginning. And for me, that's it's everything, because this is a battle, Precious. Going and campaigning and vying for office, it's a battle. So you need that peace of mind. You need that stability. And for me, my home provides that for me, and it's very important. You should never compromise on that.
So Tari, women make up about 50% of the entire population, including the voting population, and that's quite a number. And I'm sure that if all the women would say, "Oh, we support our fellow woman in this particular position," and also some men who probably have to be family members or that support you, I'm sure that the woman would come out positive. So are women truly women's greatest enemy, or they truly support each other? So the thing about women supporting women, is it true? Have you experienced it through this process?
See, look, can I just be real with you?
Please be very frank.
I don't believe in cliches, and I think women supporting women is a cliche. It's just another cliche.
Wow.
Look,
May we know why?
We can all say these things that sound nice. But when the rubber hits the road, that's when you will actually see the reality of things. I personally have received support from women.
Okay.
I've received support from women, and I don't believe it is just because I'm a woman. I was sharing with someone earlier today that initially, when I was running for councillor, there's this group of women that they are a forum of women who maybe a lot of them live around this Etiosa, but most of them are other people from other parts of Lagos. But there are this bunch of professional career women who are doing well in all of their respective fields and are just concerned Nigerians. And they have this forum, where they engage each other. And I was invited to come and speak to them. Precious, you see the way my heart was beating before that. I was so scared because I was like, hey, my goodness, look at these women, these accomplished women, what is it that I want to say that is going to impress them? So I was quite scared, but I went, I engaged them. And after a while, I was just being myself. I just said, look, you know what, I'm just going to be my authentic self. I'm not even going to try, too hard to impress or anything. I'm just going to go out there and be sincere. And towards the end, a lot of them, were supporting me. They were actually mobilizing each other, how they would go and vote and how they would do this and all that. But I had to convince them. They were not just going to support me and say, because you're a woman like me. No, I came and they asked me very hard questions. And at the end of the day, I said to them that, you know what, if I could have passed this test with you guys, there is nowhere I will not go and speak. I'm confident to go anywhere, because if I could scale through, what you guys have put me through, then I can do it anyway. So that's it. I think that women, we need to hold each other to high standards. We can't just say, oh, because we are women, let's support each other. No. Is this a competent woman? Is this a woman that is going to deliver value to her constituency? Is this a woman that has some level of integrity and is going to do what she says she's going to do? These are the questions we need to be asking ourselves, not just... Now, when you talk about soft landing is expecting that, we are going to get the whole female vote because you're a woman. No, that's lazy. That's lazy politicking. You need to go out there and convince people to support you because of the vision that you have.
All right. So now, women have held quite a couple of positions. We've had an Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala who did very fantastic with our economy, and we had part of the greatest debt relief we've ever had in Nigeria, because of her influence and her expertise. We've had quite a number. I think for a long time, or the longest time, we've had women handle the finance and economy, and they've done well, in most parts.
For the most part,
yeah. For the most part, yes. So we've also tried once to have a female House of Rep speaker that didn't go so well, and oftentimes that has been used against women. So do we rather say would rather weigh women based on, you know, the positives that we've seen them, you know, bring forth in governance, or do we rather keep you know, looking back at the little negative which, you know, has happened? How do we, you know, do everybody general now, how should everybody generally, you know, view women's parties in terms of what they have to offer?
Okay, I think it's a personal choice, to be honest, because when you look at it, I don't even like to always look at everything through the prism of gender, to be honest, because look, as much as there are a few women who have been in high office and have failed, there are also tons of men who have been in high office and failed.
Absolutely.
And I don't think anybody judges the entire male population and says they should not give them a responsibility again because of the failure of one or of a number of men. So it's not I don't think it's a standard that we should really adhere to in that sense. A human being, whoever you are, when you are taking your oath of office, that oath does not recognize whether you are a man or you are a woman. You are taking an oath of office. And if you violate your oath, you know, the same, whatever penalties would apply to you, whether you are a man or you are a woman. So at the end of the day, that argument, it doesn't really hold water, because if we were for every one woman that has failed in high office, there are probably 15 or 20 men that have failed in those offices as well. So I don't think that's a standard. But when I say it's a personal choice, you decide how you look at things. If you want to look at things solely from the point of view of gender, then you are limiting, you know, even yourself. You are limiting your perspective. You need to see wide. You need to see what everybody is bringing to the table, the strengths, the weaknesses, you know, and then make a holistic decision or make a holistic assessment and, you know, act out of that. That's my take on that.
All right, Lagos phone lines are open now. You can chime in on this conversation. 0700 903 903 903 or 0700 903 9039. That's a WhatsApp number, 0700 903 9039. If you are watching, especially from YouTube, and you'd like to join us on, you know, in this conversation, do call us up. Let's, you know, get to hear from you. Now, Tari, you know, last year, Tari, I don't know if you're there. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes. So last year, about 5 bills that we did mention that has got to do with women were turned down by the National Assembly. The bill to provide special seats for women at the National Assembly, affirmative action for women in politics, another bill which sought to grant citizenship to foreign-born husbands. Meanwhile, the reverse, the reverse was implemented, though. And then another bill also that was sought to allocate 35% of political positions based on appointment to women. And then the inclusion of at least 10%, only 10% affirmative action in favor of women. All these were turned down by the House, by the National Assembly. Now, did you think, or do you rather think, that if women had more representation in the National Assembly, that the reverse would have been the case with these bills?
Okay, well, more representation pressures does not always equal to power. You can have many women in the house, but those women they don't have impact, you know, or they don't have mouth, they're not able to influence votes. In the National Assembly, it's all about votes. It's all about whipping up votes to support the bills and all of that, the legislation that you want. So
lobbying.
So if you have a lot, you know, yes, much more lobbying and all of that. So if you have women that are in the House, but they don't have the capacity to influence their colleagues and whip up those votes, or if the women are like a lot of people who just go in the direction that their party leader tells them to go, then there won't be. It's not about the numbers. You see, that's the mistake people are making. It's not about the numbers. It's not about the bombs on seats of women in the House. No, it's about the capacity. If you have 5 women in the House and there are 5 strong women, you will see a difference. As opposed to if you have 12 women that are followers, that are sheep, then there will not be any difference. So it's not bombs on seats. It's capacity to influence, to move the needle, to create impact. That's what is important.
All right, so Tari, one of the most challenging things in politics in Nigeria is moving from party politics rather, and then to, you know, the ballot papers, right? You did have an experience during your the last time you contested for I think that was councillorship, right?
2021. Yes.
How has that? How can you share again your experience? I know you've shared it once on this show. Can you briefly share your experience again and what you have learned from that? That is helping
so you mean
do
the entire what I have learned from the entire
exactly from that entire experience, from that entire experience that has helped shaping you better now moving forward from in the new election process.
Well, one very key and valuable lesson that I have learned that helps me every day is the resilience that you need to operate in Nigerian politics. See, anywhere in the world, but particularly in Nigeria, you have to be a eternal optimist to function in this space, okay? Because the level of uncertainty that you have to deal with in this political terrain is ridiculous. Uncertainty from your party, uncertainty from INEC, uncertainty from what the mood is looking like, uncertainty from your donors, uncertainty from your support. There's just even so uncertainty from will the elections even hold? There's all sorts of uncertainty, and you have to be able to rise above the uncertainty and just keep on going. So it takes a level of tenacity. It takes a level of mental resilience to just function in this political space and have an aspiration that you are willing to see through. So, and then you have to have a long-term mind. A lot of times, yes, you get high on campaigning and you think, okay, you're going to have victory at once. But look at somebody like Alhaji Abubakar Atiku. Look at how many times this man has run. That man, he can give the world a master class in tenacity. Like he can give the world a master class in having a dream and just
pursuing it. Because he's lived it.
I would like, what? The day, if I can never sit down and have a conversation with Atiku, like my first question would be like, seriously, what is that? What is the mind that drives you every time? That you have gone through disappointment after disappointment, yet you still come back strong, come back harder the next time. Is that a normal person? That's not a normal person.
But we had the present president go through close to that too.
The same thing. So you see what I mean? Even look at somebody like Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. This man ran for office 1999. He was governor for 8 years. He left office in 2007. And then 2023 is now when he's finally trying to fulfill his ambition of being president. Do you realize the amount of patience, the amount of tactical, planning, the amount of strategic ability to just wait for the right time?
Oh, wow. So all of this is actually deliberate efforts. Not just waiting.
Deliberate effort, and it's incredible talent. It shows incredible, human capacity. So to be in politics is not for the faint-hearted. It's not for the people who are looking for quick victories. You have to have that staying power. You have to be able to hold on in spite of everything around you seeming to fall apart. You have to be able to, even if you are breaking down and you are so discouraged and you are so afraid, you will still out of that be encouraging your supporters, because you can never show them that you are doubting, yourself. So it takes a high level of emotional intelligence, mental resilience, to operate in the political space in Nigeria. And every day you just learn. And for me, I don't limit myself to this party or this party. I learn. For me, the whole space is my classroom. I learn from everybody. I learn from every single person. I believe that everybody has something of value to offer. So I just observe. I do a lot of observing. I have the benefit of doing that because, I'm in a smaller party. So I don't have any allegiances that bind me one way or the other. So I can be objective in the way I view things. But you just learn. You just grow every day. And like they say, 24 hours in politics is like a lifetime. So you always have to be flexible. You always have to be willing to move as expedient to do what is the next right move that gets you to where you want to go. So I feel like we need more training. We need more managing of our expectations within this space. this Tari that is running now and the Tari that was running in 2021 are two different people.
What's changed
completely
again?
Different people.
What happened? What changed you?
I am a bit more at rest in who I am and in the value I have to offer. I think I'm a bit more objective and in my expectations. I'm a bit more understanding of what I need to do and what may not be necessary for me to do, because there is no playbook that wins for everybody. You have to find your own path. You have to find your own strategy. You have to find your own market, basically your own voters. You have to find how you connect with your own voters. The same way my opponents in APC and PDP connect with their voters may not be the same way that I will connect with my own voters. You know what I mean? So you have to learn and understand yourself. So me going in at that time, I was very green, I was very fresh. Although I had like an endless supply of optimism. I had an endless supply of energy. So I went hard, I went for it. After the elections, we went to the tribunal. We appealed the tribunal judgment. So for an election that was in July, I didn't have closure till November that year. So I went through the whole process. I have a much better understanding of the way our political systems work. So now that I'm running from a stronger place, you know, in my mind and in the way that I'm doing things. I have a better understanding of how to use money, of how to use less to accomplish more. I'm more prudent with the resources that, you know, I have. So it's just, I guess I've just grown a bit more. So my perception and the way I do things is different. And every politician would learn that, you know, it's a long game. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. You have to just learn and build that resilience over time.
All right. So, Tari, we're out on a quick break. This is just about a 3-minute break. When we come back, we'd like to hear from you how, women can, make it in from party politics to the ballot papers, especially when you're not in a very active political party or when you're not in a very top political party, because it seems like a very Herculean task on how you be able to beat the other political parties with all the big names and, manage to want to think that you come out successful. I'm sure you'd also share from your past experience in that. We'll be right back after this break. Stay with us. Thank you.
All right.
This is your number one radio station at BOP 90.3 FM.
When I finish downloading this show like this, I will go straight to Tayo's house to eat sweet jollof. Then enjoy this movie on YouTube. It's just that Tayo will now start disturbing me to turn on my Wi-Fi for him when he can easily enjoy data bonus with MTN for me. With MTN for me, you will get 100% data bonus and discounted data bundles just like that. What are you waiting for? Dial *121# to get started with MTN for me.
Are you aware that Iruka Online Limited installed and designed a 100,000 capacity church building? Oh yeah, we are the sole distributors of global leading brands all over the world, such as Wafday Line Array, speakers and digital amplifiers, Preseno's digital mixers and studio equipment, Coswell workstations and keyboards, Fender guitars, Mapex drums, Ashdown bass combos, just to mention but a few. We offer flexible payment plan handled by our financial department with 24/7 customer care support system. You can visit our website on www.iruka.com to avoid buying fake products. You can also visit our showroom at number 36 Lagos International Airport Road beside Golden Tulip Hotel. Iruka, never settle for less.
If you're looking for a place to relax and find comfort, the right place to be is the Golden Tulip Essential Hotel. At the Golden Tulip Essential Hotel, we offer excellent services to our clients and customers. We serve high quality wines at our restaurant and bar, while our continental dish is second to none. At the Golden Tulip Essential Hotel, located on 42 Muritala Mohammed International Airport Road, our rooms are in conformity with international standard and best practices. We accord priority to security for all our guests. Breakfast is free.
That's how I do.
Yay! And we have standard facilities for your seminar and training. For bookings and reservations, please call 0815-7003-333.
Ice on my neck, ice on my wrist, that's how I do.
right, you are welcome back. It is 90.3 Voice of the People FM. And before we went on break, we've been speaking with Tari Taylor. She's a youth party candidate for the House of Assembly, Chiosa 1 constituency. And we've been talking about women's involvement in politics. How do women have quality and good representation, both in the state and the local levels? That's what we have been discussing this evening. And it's been quite an interesting conversation. We've had quite a couple of reactions too. I've got quite a couple of WhatsApp messages and questions on WhatsApp. I'll be taking them one at a time. Just before we go straight to the WhatsApp questions, Tari, are you back? Thank you. Thank you for hanging in there with us.
Yes, I'm back.
All right. So, I did ask a question because I have quite a few questions too on WhatsApp. But I did ask a question before we jumped out on that break. So let's talk about that question I asked. How do women, they used to say that structure is a thing, right? But for some people, structure is either I don't want to say foot soldiers of ballot snatching or people who are actually your actual foot soldiers. So how do you move from that party that barely does have structure and have that confidence that in spite of the fact that this our party will not get structure, I can make it? What's that thing that gives you that confidence?
All right. So are you ready to put your analyst hat on?
I'll try. I like the fact that you're interested in that question. I'll try.
Okay. Several factors. Now, I ran in 2021 and now I'm running in 2023.
You ran as a councillor. That's just a very minute position, if I have to say. I'm sorry. This is not trivializing your position.
That's the lowest. I was very proud and honored to run for councillor because that is the lowest, literally the lowest rung on the political ladder.
Exactly.
But it's the government position that is closest to the people.
Exactly.
So if you actually want to have personal impact on people's lives, being a councillor is like the perfect role. The perfect role. Trust me. I really wanted to be councillor.
I agree, but do we even have our councillors that close to the people? Hello, Tari. This is in theory, but is it really in practical and practice?
Yeah. So the fact that we don't practice the theory doesn't negate the spirit of the theory. You understand? The fact that you don't enforce a law doesn't cancel out the spirit of the law. The fact that we don't have councillors that are as impactful as they should be, doesn't remove the impact that they can make on the constituency. So that's the change that we need to make. In fact, Precious, my dream is that by the next local government elections in Lagos, which is in like 2 years, that a lot of young people, 20-somethings, would get up and actually run for councillorship in their local governments. That's where we should be looking to, and that's one thing that Youth Party is very passionate about. We are looking at a situation where we have 21-year-olds, 18-year-olds. In fact, people running. Well, I think 18 is the limit that you can run for councillor. But at least I'm looking at, okay, by the time you mature a little, maybe 25 is a good age. So I see no reason why the councillor for my ward in Lekki here in 2 years' time should not be a 25-year-old.
All right, so let's go back addressing that question, because I think that people want to hear.
Okay, so the thing is, 2 years ago, which is where I was going to 2 years ago, the level of voter apathy was very high. People were just not coming out to vote. People would not even have known that there was a local government elections happening if not for the intensity of the Youth Party's campaign. A lot of times, local government elections would just pass and nobody would know.
You ran under the same party too?
I ran under the same party.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But Youth Party, we were very passionate, we were very intense, and we awakened a lot of people.
If you keep mentioning Youth Party, you have to pay me for advert too. So it would be nice if you just keep going on without mentioning your party.
All right, sorry.
Thank you.
So my people, my team and I, we were very, we campaigned, and a lot of people knew about the elections because of us. In fact, we probably had the highest turnout of voting, at that election that we've ever had. And even that was not enough. Even that still exhibited a high voter apathy. But it was the most turnout that we've experienced in recent time because of the youth involvement in the campaigning. So guess what? Between 2021 and 2023, that factor has changed in our favor. Voter apathy has significantly reduced. Are you aware of the number of new registered voters on INEC database?
I agree, and I see the youth involvement.
Something million.
Yes.
The youth, the demographic of 18 to 35 constitutes up to
39%. Well, 39% for 18 to 35%.
The entire, yes.
Yeah, but from 18 to 45% is about over 60%.
About 60%.
Yes.
So about half of that is the 18 to 35. Now, a large number of Etiosa, my constituents here, are in that age group.
Oh, wow.
Typically, they've not been voting. They don't participate in elections for various reasons. They didn't have PVC, or they just felt it didn't matter to them, or their vote didn't count. But here we are now, 2 years later. Something has shifted in the mindset of the average young Nigerian. It has become to them an important civic duty to be able to cast their votes, and they are determined to cast their votes. Now, the only question is, who are they casting their vote for? That's the only question. Now, in Etiosa, they have a current incumbent, the person that is currently holding the seat at the Lagos State House of Assembly. Every time I go out to campaign, Precious, one of the first questions that I ask people is, do you know who your current representative is? Now, I tell you, they don't know. About 80% of people do not know, and they have never known who their representative is. Why is that? Because these representatives, are they working in the shadows? Are they actually working in the interests of the people they are supposed to represent, or are they playing to party interests and other such factors? So these are the things that have changed. These are the elements that make victory possible for a candidate like me at this time. Note my use of the word at this time. What is going to happen now may not have been possible last year, or may not have been possible in the last election cycle. But factors have changed. Perceptions have shifted. The numbers are speaking differently. The mood of the nation is different. So there is a possibility, if there ever was a chance of unseating the incumbent party in Etiosa, it is now. It is today. It is in this election cycle. And I think I am a viable candidate. I am a viable alternative that is being presented to my constituency to show them, because I have demonstrated capacity over time, and I have showed them that I am committed to their well-being as a constituency. So they know me, they see the work I'm doing privately, they see the zero impact their current representation is having on their lives, and I'm offering them a better deal than what they currently have. So if they're going to use those TVCs, they're going to use it for Taritelo and the Youth Party, not for anybody else, because that is who they know. That is who has demonstrated that I care for you, I'm committed to you, and I will work for you. So, Precious, it's a game changer.
So you know how people vote along party lines in the country. So, I mean, when people are voting, for instance, your election is coming during the states at the state level. So usually when they vote for the governorship, they don't even pay attention to who the National House of Assembly would be. They just press the same party along that line, because after all, what we vote for is party and not the individual. How are you confident that, because I don't know if the Labour Party, the Youth Party has a governorship candidate, but how are you confident that, people would perhaps vote another party for the governor or governorship and then go along and vote you for that constituency for the House of Assembly? What gives you that confidence? Especially because your party may not just be out there.
Now, I also told you about the new voter demographic that has come up.
It's all about in theory. We haven't seen it. We've not practiced that in any election. We've not exercised that yet. We've just seen the energy. But we've not been able to experience it yet in an election.
But you listen to the heartbeat, you listen to the mood, you hear what people are saying. Why do you do market research before you invest millions of dollars into a business? You do your market research, you do your understanding of your customer, you understand their buying patterns, the trends and everything that affect them. You look at the holistic picture, and then you can make your deductions based on that. So we're not just shooting aimlessly in the dark and saying, by the reason of our hope, we will win.
Okay.
By reason of our hope, we will win. We're actually making our deductions based on actual data and facts that are before us, and we see that there is a possibility. Of course, in life, even the surest bets, can go the other way. After all, everybody was already popping champagne, believing Hillary Clinton was going to win, and then Donald Trump came out, emerged from nowhere and overturned the whole thing. So politics is that unpredictable. But, politics is that unpredictable. But, at the end of the day, you make your deductions and you make an intelligent, you move intelligently based on that.
All right. So I have this question here. Let me remind you, our phone lines have been buzzing, but I've been ignoring them because I was enjoying the conversation. So you can now call me back. It's 0700-903-9039. If you have questions for Tari, she'll be very well, happy to respond to your questions. 0700-903-903-903. So this question from this comment from Agege says, to me, whether women participate in politics or not is not spectacular. I said this because many of them that were and are still in national positions have proven not to be better than their male counterparts. In fact, let me take this call. I'll get back to this because it's as if this person is going somewhere. Hello, good evening to you.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Abuja. I'm so happy to get you guys. I've been longing to get you guys. Like 2 weeks ago, I called the station on Sunday precisely. I was so broke. Things were so bad for me. And there was a guy on radio that was saying something like, talk your mind. Since I came into the country, sorry, I decided I want to be anonymous for now. I don't want to call me.
Conversation that we're having. Do you want to continue?
I know why I'm calling. I have a reason because I've been trying to reach you guys to say thank you.
So can you do me a WhatsApp message instead? I would prefer you do me a WhatsApp message. The WhatsApp number is 0700-903-9039. Please. It's almost the same number, but it ends with 9.
You won't get it. I'm not on WhatsApp for now because I'll be leaving the country any moment from now. I air my number. I just want to say thank you to someone. I air my number and someone got me a job that have changed my life. I just want to say thank you. Since I was in Lagos, there have been so many fake people. But I thought this radio is also part of the one you air your number and fake people will call you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Yeah.
We appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, so Tari, if you're still there, let's quickly go back to that message from Egege. He says, to me, whether women participate in politics or not, it is not spectacular. I said this because many of them that are and still in national positions have proven not to be better in terms of better side, in terms of managerial or moral uprightness. That's what he's saying. That women haven't proven to be better in terms of moral uprightness or managerial. And then he said, take a look at the police force today. Police women are worse than their male foes in terms of corruption. Would you like to react to this, Sari?
See, this judgment or whatever it is he's making, in fairness to your listener, is he saying he's not giving facts? He's making general statements.
He's saying that police women have been proven to be more corrupt than policemen, so therefore women. I don't know.
Proven how? You see, when you come to the table and say something like that, you have to come with your facts. You said proven, so who proved it? Who proved it? Who proved it? Was there a proper research done on this subject matter? Was there a sample group conducted to find out how much more prone to corruption women, policewomen are? What research is he saying it based on? Let's not just make general statements. That's where I'm coming from. Yes, he may have some experience or something that makes him say that, but we all go through experiences in life. It doesn't make you generalize, it's a whole demographic and say that this is the case. So until my dear friend comes back with facts and data to back his argument, then we would have a conversation about it.
All right. Hello. Good evening to you, Lagos. Hello. Hello.
Good evening, Professor.
Yes, good evening.
Hello. People, I stand there.
All right, Mazude, your network is very, very, very poor, extremely poor. We can't hear you. Also sounds like you're in a very noisy place. So if you can do well to call us back, that would be nice. The guest will be here to react to your question. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening. So what's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is XYZ.
Ah, Mr. ABC, you're here again.
All right. First, personally, I don't like women participating in politics because there are a lot of atrocities behind it. To be honest with you, you know, one thing about me not like such a thing is this: you see a woman coming back home 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock, all in the name of politics. You as a man, you'll be busy in the house making preparation, making food for your kids. While your wife, who is supposed to be there, will be somewhere else. They will tell you she's in a meeting with one man or the other. You know, this kind of a thing. That is my way. That's what I don't like about politics in women. Secondly, there's no difference between them and the men that are there. Both of them, let me just tell you, in the history of Nigeria today, no woman has ever moved emotion. Nobody has ever moved emotion. They say, okay, this woman did, and we did not do it. So these are things we consider, for me, they are better off to go back to the house and make arrangement of their home. No one have already said to the wife that his wife belongs to the kitchen. It's not what he's saying. You understand me? So mechanically too. This is what I don't like about politics. Because I've seen so many of them. I can give you anyway.
No, Wahala, thank you. Let's let the guests react to this. Thank you. So, all right, Tari, you heard that. I see you laughing out.
Yes, and I had a good laugh. Well, I respect his opinion. Everybody knows, everybody has where they're coming from before they say these kinds of things. You don't know what he has seen. You don't know the experience he has had. You don't know So I mean, I can't fault his point of view. You know, he best knows the reason why. Well, you know, we discussed some of these perceptions earlier on.
Exactly,
so you can see that I wasn't talking off the top of my head. These things are actually on ground, you know. But I respect his opinion. I guess his wife would never be running for office.
but do you think politics is actually a very dirty game, too dirty for women to dabble in?
Every game can be a dirty game, Precious. Every game. Banking can be a dirty game. Oil and gas can be a dirty game. Politics is a dirty game. Every game can be a dirty game. But but each player speaks for themselves. Each player, you know, you have a responsibility to do what is important to you. So I don't think it's good to judge the entire field and say, oh, politics is a dirty game, therefore I'm going to dismiss everybody that is in politics as corrupt and not worthy of any trust or anything. No, that would be a disservice, you know, to yourself, because that is why you are an intelligent voter. That is why that you have the benefit of political campaigns, because that's the time when you get to listen and question and understand the policies and the personalities of the different people trying to win your vote. And then you can now make informed decisions that you can own, and you can stand up anywhere and say, I made this decision because so and so. So at the end of the day, we can't keep passing the buck and saying, oh, bad leadership. But who puts these bad leaders in the office? Well, did we make intelligent choices, or did we vote based on our ethnicity or religion or how much money the person put in your pocket? So by the time you keep making these poor choices, you actually don't have the moral right to complain about the quality of leaders that you get.
All right. Thank you, Tari. Hello, good evening to you.
Yeah, good evening, Precious. You can hear me now. Good evening to the guest. Yeah, Precious. I'm in love with that very woman here to take over any position she wants. In fact, I want women to take over the leadership of Nigeria. Men are failed. Men are just nothing, eating money, messing around. I don't see reason why somebody will say the woman's supposed to be in kitchen or that is absolutely no sense. I don't like such a word.
from people. Look all over the world. Women are the people that will do the best in the world. Even look at home. Men are messing up and women are controlling the world, making things to work very well. So please, I want women to take over Nigeria. You understand? Don't leave it to men. Men are nonsense now. Men don't have anything to give. I said it. I know I'm a man. I know about it. Okay? So she should pick it up, put us to her. She pick it up, she will win. I wish her the best.
Amen.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, Tari. That would be our last caller. Let's just leave it on that positive note.
Okay.
Thank you so much. So let's have your final thoughts before we let you go.
I just want I want to encourage every listener right now. I know that things are hard. I know that everybody is complaining. It's like everything just got more harsher in the last recent weeks. You know, we're all looking and it all just seems so dark ahead. We're asking, can things ever get better? But I mean, at the end of the day, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. And a lot of times the light is determined by your perception, by your own perspective. We all have to find little things to celebrate about Nigeria, little things to be thankful for, because it's those little seeds of faith that would eventually, add up to give us the country, the nation that we want in our hearts. So let us just keep the faith. Let us do our part, keep our environment clean. That is a personal responsibility that doesn't have anything to do with your government. So do what you can. Be responsible where you are. And eventually, we will get the Nigeria we want. So thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. We've been speaking with Tari Taylor. Tari Taylor is a youth party candidate for Itiosa 1 constituency for the State Assembly. Thank you for obliging our request to, come to the show this evening. We appreciate you, Tari. And by the way, we wish you the best of luck.
Always a pleasure.
We wish you the best of luck. Well done. Thank you. Lagos, that is it on the Evening Rush. Not on the Evening Rush totally, by the way, just on a hot topic this evening. Yes, we've had that conversation. So what's really your opinion, really, for those who say that women can never participate in politics? There are places in the kitchen. All right, that's a good one. We'll jump on a quick break now. When we come back, we're having our second conversation. You know that we look at weird and bizarre things on Wednesdays, right? So today, we heard something. So we heard that you see this colo that you used to put your money inside. That's sometimes the carpenters that do this colo for you can actually put jars inside. So that all the money you're putting, by the time you now open your colo, you don't see it again. The money will just disappear to the thin air. So are such diabolical powers possible? The fact that you probably can do contribution or a jaw, you know what you call a jaw, and then when you now, maybe one person picks, the first person picks, and when he picks, he would not be responsible for the next person's people that should pick up, and you can't even take him to court because he probably will do jazz on all of you, and all of you will forget that you have money with him. Is that possible? Is that even a thing, or do we just overthink these African voodoo powers? I'd like to hear your thought on that, Lagos. Let's jump on a quick break. We'll be right back. This is the Evening Rush, 90.3 Voice of the People FM. My name is Precious. I'll be right back.